Hello, I'm Kirsty Alexander.
I'm Gitta Wigro.
And we're the co-directors of Independent Dance. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about a workshop that we've got coming up because we're very excited about it. And it's part of a project called Reimagine India, which is funded by Arts Council England and the British Council. And the wider context of this project for Independent Dance is we've taken part in a number of artistic exchanges with Gitta Dance Forum in New Delhi, India. And the workshop that we've got coming up as part of that is called Resisting Myth, Refining Movement, and it's with Padmini Chettur. And it's on the 8th, 9th, 10th of July. And Padmini is also giving a public talk on Saturday the 9th in the evening for those who can't do the workshop but would still like to know more about her work.
And we thought we would introduce Padmini in a video because she's not necessarily known so well here, although she's had quite a bit of exposure in the rest of Europe. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you, because from the beginning when we were talking about the project and about the opportunity to invite an artist to come from India to share their approach and their research with us, you were really clear about wanting to invite Padmini.
Yeah, well, I first went and worked with Gitta a couple of years ago, and I was mentoring some artists on the Gitta Summer Dance Residency. And these artists had already had a week's intensive workshop with Padmini, and I was really aware of the fact that these emerging choreographers had this very transformative experience. And their work was all very, very conceptually clear and really intelligent choices made about vocabulary and the paring down of vocabulary and the distillation of ideas. So I was quite interested in what their experience had been in the week before, because there was such clarity from all the artists. And I started hearing about her teaching work then, and so then I went and looked up her work and started watching her work online, and was quite blown away by her own work. And I knew that actually she'd been quite popular in the rest of Europe because Sasha Valls had seen her work a number of years ago and had been so impressed with it that they'd done a collaboration together, and then Sasha brought Padmini's work to tour in Europe. So a number of European choreographers have been very interested in her work, and she was quite known there, but not here. Her work wasn't too known here.
So in your conversations with Padmini about the workshop, what have you been discussing?
Well, she's talked a lot about wanting to start from the idea of space and the idea of internal space, and space as a sort of internal construct rather than external entity. But she also is very interested in responding to who's there. And in a sense, I don't know the answer to that question yet, because I can see the workshop very much appealing to our usual participants, but I think it might also be of interest to some classically trained Indian dancers who are working in the contemporary field, because her work's so different from following that genealogy that's made in this country. So there may be people with a range of, as our participants always are anyway, a range of backgrounds and experiences. So I think she's interested in seeing who's there and therefore how this relationship to space unfolds. I know she's also interested in deconstructing a little bit how established patterns, rhythmic patterns, how they deconstruct and become something else. So I think that's another aspect of it. As I said, she definitely feels attention to precision and micro shifts of weight, the kind of place where technique and choreographic question meet in a way is something I think that's at the heart of her work, because it's so precise and so minimal. I think I've talked about the fact that our participants aren't necessarily trained in Bharatanatyam, and that's something that interests her, and is certainly her work wouldn't require a background in that at all. But I think it's also of interest to contemporary dancers who do have a background in that, because it's very different to work that's been made
Yeah.
here from that
Yeah.
kind of genealogy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, suddenly we're thinking. So we hope that this has given you a bit more of an idea of what Padmini's work is going to be like.
And I would say there's a link to some extracts of our work on the Basement 21 website and some more information about our work, and I really recommend having a look at that. I really do.
And see you at the workshop.
See you at the workshop or the talk.